If the kid is unable to do that, the kid is unable to obey or do things the narcissistic parents' way, all that love and affection is withheld. Yeah, and the kid is starved of love and affection. Tiny bit of crumbs is thrown when the kids, again, fall back online. The kids are again validated, tiny bits. I mean, it's all crumbs. The kids, I mean, these poor individuals misunderstand it with love. They think that is love, that is affection, but all what they are getting is crumbs. Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to talk about the impact of narcissistic parenting on identity formation of the child. And before I get going, I would request you all to like, share, subscribe the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys are updated whenever we put out a new content. So we know, who these narcissists are and how these narcissistic individuals are. It's all about them. They have extreme sense of entitlement. They hate taking accountability and responsibility for their bad behavior. Narcissists lack empathy. They have inability to self-reflect. Narcissists, don't tolerate criticism very well. They hate it. And narcissists are expert in manipulation. Yeah, they are expert in gaslighting. They are expert in triangulating things. Narcissists are also expert in, upholding a very good image in front of the others. Yeah, they are, very good. They have seen it all. They have been through a lot. Grandiose ones have their own projection. Cowards have their own, victim kind of projection. So these narcissistic individuals have two faces, one for the others and one, for their supply source. Yeah, they cannot, hold on to the image that they project on the outside in their personal space. They are unable to hold on to that for long, so the real face comes out. Yeah, the real face is seen in the personal space. Yeah, with the supply, with the source, with the victim. And outside, of course, they are able to uphold that facade. They are able to project whatever they want. They are, a different individual on the outside. They are a different individual on the inside. Yeah. So narcissistic parenting is nowhere close to, you know healthy parenting. Healthy parenting fosters healthy connection. Healthy parenting fosters open communication. Healthy parenting, fosters a two-way conversation. Yeah, healthy parenting fosters, a kind of an environment where everyone is allowed to be himself or herself. Yeah, that's what healthy parenting is all about. But when we look at narcissistic parenting is all about compliance. Narcissistic parent is all about devotion, loyalty, dedication, complying to the narcissist, being loyal to the narcissist, being devoted to the narcissist, and prioritizing the narcissist, above all. Yeah, this is what narcissistic parenting is all about. Narcissistic parents don't view their kids as a separate individual. Yeah, separate unique individuals. No, they see their kids as something, which they have reproduced and created to serve themselves. That's all. Yeah, I know it's very unhealthy, it's very selfish, but that's how things are with narcissistic parent. So it's all about narcissistic parent. Narcissistic parents crave, attention, admiration, validation. Some of the narcissistic parents, are enmeshed with their kid in an unhealthy way. You can get to see, emotional incest in some of the, narcissistic parent and child relationship. You get to see a lot of unhealthy stuff. Yeah, life is like walking on eggshells for kids. Kids are not allowed to be themselves. Kids are not allowed to engage much or connect with the other parent. the kid should be devoted and loyal and dedicated to the narcissistic parent. Yeah, and if the kid is unable to do that, the kid is unable to obey or do things the narcissistic parents way, all that love and affection is withheld. Yeah, and the kid is starved of love and affection. Tiny bit of crumbs is thrown when the kids, again, fall back online. The kids are again validated tiny bits. I mean, it's all crumbs. The kids, I mean, these poor individuals misunderstand it with love. They think that is love, that is affection, but all what they are getting is crumbs. So narcissistic parent is very damaging. Narcissists lack empathy, and they really don't care about your feeling and emotion. And the same thing is, with narcissistic parents, they really don't care what their kid is going through. They are least interested to know their kids side of story, how their kid is feeling, what their kids are going through. They want their kids in a specific way. They want their kids to function, think and behave in a specific way, and that's the end of story. Even if their kid is different, or even if their kid is unable to do what they want, they really don't care. They just burden their kid with all the list of unrealistic expectations that they have in mind. Yeah, and when the kid walks onto the path of complying, fulfilling, doing their bidding, these narcissistic parents feel good. Yeah, their ego is fueled. They feel good that they have someone whom they are controlling. They have someone who's obeying their orders. They have someone who is just living for them. Yeah, they have someone who just prioritizes them. So this is something that boosts their ego. The narcissistic parents really don't care, I mean, what kind of adulthood the kids are going to have. They are least interested in that. And we know that in narcissistic households, the childhood that the child experiences is very unpredictable, and because of that, majority of these kids develop anxious or avoidant or disorganized attachment style. Yeah, when you have a dysfunctional family or narcissistic family, you are bound to develop these kind of attachment styles. You won't be developing secure attachment style. Yeah, because everything is so unpredictable in a narcissistic household. You really don't know, I mean, what action of yours is going to make the narcissistic parent lash out. Yeah, you really don't know what word or what gesture will hurt the narcissistic parent. So it's almost like walking on eggshells. You are all the time tiptoeing, thinking 10,000 times before uttering or saying. You know that you have to prioritize the narcissistic parent over your own self. You have to fulfill the dreams of the narcissistic parent. You need to throw your dreams aside. You need to just be devoted to the narcissistic parent. Your life is all about serving the narcissistic parent. Your personal life goes for a flying F. Your professional life, that's your business. Your friend circle, that's your business. But above all, you have to prioritize your narcissistic parent, and that's it. Now, we all need to understand that the kind of manipulation that the narcissistic parent does is actually very dark, yeah, and damaging. All what they do is they use their love and affection as a bargaining chip. I will withhold this love and affection if you don't do things this way, if you don't do things that way. And this happens from early childhood. So the kids are trained, the kids are conditioned to comply. And we all know that we want love and affection, we want to feel safe. That's how it is in a healthy setup. A kid is given all that love and affection. A kid is made to feel safe, yeah, in the family. But in narcissistic family, things are very different. All of a sudden, if you don't do things their way, they are going to confiscate all that love and affection, and you will just be lost. Yeah, you would feel as if you don't exist. You've become invisible. Yeah, and kids don't want that. I mean, as children, we want, the love and affection of our caregivers, and that is what makes us feel good. Yeah, makes us feel home. So we want that, and that want is misused by these narcissistic parents. Yeah, they don't care, the after effects. They don't care what their action, might cause to their children. They really don't care. Lack of empathy. So they just withhold all that love and affection, and let the kids starve of affection and validation, and the kids feel miserable, they feel lost. Yeah, they feel stressed, they feel messed up, they are scared. Yeah, the kid wants that, support. The kids want that love and affection and sense of security, and all of a sudden, imagine all of that is just vanishing, and you're just there. Yeah, just because you did something which the narcissistic parent doesn't approve of. Yeah, all of the love and affection vanished. Yeah, so this is, how narcissistic parents train their children from early childhood. So the consequences, or you can say the effects of such a conditioning, is very bad. And one such effect is lack of individuality. So the kid is always, trained and conditioned to prioritize the narcissistic parent, betray himself or herself, and keep doing things the narcissistic parent approves of. So with such kind of a conditioning from early childhood, a kid is unable to develop his or her unique individuality. The kid is unable to, explore himself or herself. The kid is unable to develop, his identity, his unique individual identity. It's all about, serving the master. It's all about serving the narcissistic parent. It's all about doing things to please the narcissistic parent. End of story. Yeah, so the goal and the life's mission for these kids, I mean those who are raised by narcissistic parent, is to please, is to please and obey the narcissistic parents, so that they can get their share of love and affection. We know all that love and affection is crumb. These poor individuals misunderstand, those crumbs for love, but that is what they get, because narcissistic individuals don't see their kids the way how healthy individual does. Yeah, narcissistic parents, see their kids as something which they have created for their service. That's all. Yeah, so the narcissistic parent, ruthlessly manipulates the child without realizing or without thinking, of the consequences or of the damages. Yeah, their manipulation is causing to the child. They really don't care about that. So these kids, they lack individuality. They are unable to develop their own self. They are unable to uh, you can say, develop self-worth. They are unable to develop self-esteem, because every time they tried resisting, every time they tried being themselves, they were guilt-tripped, they were shamed. All that love and affection vanished. All of a sudden these kids were, made to feel, insecure, made to feel unsafe, and the kids did not feel good. So the easiest way to feel safe and secure was to comply with the narcissistic parent. The easiest way to feel safe was to just do the things what he or she wants. That's it. End of story. Yeah. So this is how the kids are raised in a narcissistic home. Yeah. So the kids, lack individuality. They are unable to develop themselves in their own unique way, because they have been taught and conditioned to prioritize the narcissistic parent and not themselves. Every time they tried prioritizing themselves, they came up with their hobbies, likes and dislikes. They were shamed and guilt tripped. Yeah, they were made to feel guilty for having needs. They were made to feel guilty for being themselves. Yeah, authenticity is something which is not encouraged in narcissistic families. Authenticity is something that enrages the narcissist, because if the child is authentic, or if the victim is authentic, there is possibility that he or she might see through, and he or she might distance himself or herself from the narcissist. Yeah, so authenticity is not a good thing, and authenticity is something which is not entertained by the narcissist. They hate it, and when they see that the kids are trying to be authentic, they discourage the kid. Yeah, they uh, you know uh, I would say manipulate the kids into thinking that being authentic is a bad thing. Yeah, life is all about pleasing the narcissistic parent. Life is all about serving the narcissistic parent, and that's how we get a lot of these proverbs and notions in society. Yeah, parents are gods, parents are second god, this god, that god, you should prioritize your parent above everything. Okay, so one thing is lack of individuality that we get to see in these kids. The next impact of narcissistic parenting that we get to see, in the children is, self-doubt and insecurity. Kids are never allowed to explore themselves, their strength, their weaknesses, their likes, their dislikes. Kids are never allowed to go deeper inside. Yeah, they are not allowed to explore themselves. They are given a script and they have to follow. If they fail to follow word by word, they are punished. All that love and affection is withheld. The kid is, you know confiscated of all that love and affection, and the kid only gets tiny bit of crumb when the kid is back on track, and when the kid is able to do things the way how it is expected out of the kid, I mean, or how it is laid out by the narcissistic parent. So these kids, uh, have a lot of self-doubt and insecurity, because they have not explored themselves. They don't know their own strength and weaknesses. Yeah, and this is because every time they tried going deeper within, they were shamed, guilt tripped, and they were made to feel as if uh, focusing on your own self or going deeper, was a selfish act. Yeah, and that should not, exist in a family. You should not go deep. You should not explore your own self. If you prioritize your own self, if you explore yourself, I mean, you are betraying your family. Yeah, you are betraying your family code. You are betraying your family honor and all of that. So these kids really don't get a chance to explore themselves, know their strength, know their weaknesses. Remember, in childhood also, things were very unpredictable. Yeah, and they were conditioned and trained to comply. Yeah, they were trained and conditioned to comply in order to avoid conflict. They were trained and conditioned to comply in order to get their, you know, love and affection. They were trained and conditioned to comply, you know, so that they will feel safe, they will be seen and heard. Yeah, so all of these things, was there in the childhood. So what do you expect? I mean, how do you think the kid to grow up to be? Yeah, they do grow up with a lot of insecurities. They do grow up with a lot of self-doubt. Yeah, because they were never allowed to explore their own selves. They were never allowed to be themselves. Yeah, they were never encouraged to develop their self-esteem. They were never ever allowed to develop their self-worth. Yeah, it was all about the narcissistic parent. Yeah, so you are expected to face all sorts of challenges and mishappenings in your life, because you were trained, I mean, you were of course produced with a purpose, plus you are trained and conditioned to serve the narcissistic parent. That's all, above anything and everything. You are not supposed to do anything with yourself. You are not supposed to prioritize yourself. Yeah, so when you don't know your own weaknesses, your own strength, when you are unable to work on yourself, when you are unable to explore yourself, how would you develop self-esteem, self-worth? How will you feel confident with your own self? Yeah, your life is all about serving the narcissistic parent, so of course you are expected to experience self-doubt and insecurities. That is something which is seen in all of the victims and these survivors. So yes, self-doubt and insecurity is something that we get to see in these survivors as well. I mean, though they work on themselves and after some time they do heal, recover, and they become confident, they develop their self-worth, self-esteem, so things do change. But I mean, overall, if you see, the victims do suffer from self-doubt. Plus, there is a hell lot of gaslighting. You cannot do this, you cannot do that. If you do this, that means you don't love me. If you do this, that means you don't care for your mother. If you do this, that means you don't honor our family name, blah blah. All those gaslighting statements. You can never do things right, you always mess it up. Yeah, so these things have a lot of negative impact. I mean, gaslighting doesn't do anything good to the child. So, it has a lot of negative impact. And because of that, these kids, suffer from self-doubt and insecurities. Another impact of narcissistic parenting is that these kids, constantly seek external validation. Just the way how they were, seeking validation and approval in their family from their narcissistic parent, the same way they seek validation and approval from the others and the rest of the world. Yeah, life is all about validation, appreciation. Yeah, life is all about seeking validation from the others. Yeah, because they are empty on the inside. They were never allowed to develop themselves, they were never allowed to nurture themselves, they were never allowed to uh, grow themselves in a healthy way. Yeah, they were never nourished. Yeah, so because of that, just the same way, how they were dependent on their narcissistic parents validation and approval, the same way they are dependent on the others. I mean, in their life, they keep seeking external validation and then they feel okay. If they are not validated, they feel empty on the inside. This is an after effect of all that gaslighting, manipulation, and all that, conditioning, toxic conditioning by narcissistic parent. And the last impact of narcissistic parenting is identity confusion. The kid feels something else on the inside, but the kid is conditioned to behave and think and react in a different way on the outside. Yeah, the kid is not allowed to be who he or she is on the inside. In a narcissistic relationship, we know authenticity is not encouraged. Yeah, so these kids suffer from identity confusion. Yeah, and to an extent identity crisis as well. They really don't know who they are, or what they truly want. They are confused. Yeah, because of all that manipulation, gaslighting, aggressive manipulation, I would say. um, Everything is distorted. It takes time. Once the kid is away from such narcissistic parents, or goes no contact, or is independent, and is staying away from narcissistic parent, then we can expect a little clarity. The kid will be able to explore and do some amount of self-reflection. But till the time the kid is in contact or in a close relationship with the narcissistic family, narcissistic parent, the kid will forever be confused. Yeah, and this is what gaslighting does. This makes you doubt your own self, this makes you doubt your own feelings, your own thought. So the kids are confused about their own self. They really don't know who they are. All what they know is, no matter what I think, no matter what I feel on the inside, I have to be the way how my narcissistic parents want me to be. That's it. I cannot be my true self. Yeah. And all that pressure, all that withholding love and affection, manipulation, silent treatment, triangulation, passive aggressive behavior, it creates a distorted sense of self in these individuals, I mean these kids. So yes, they have identity confusion as well. They are unable to decide what they want. They are unable to accept who they are, even though if they feel something on the inside, they are unable to accept it, because they are scared. What if my parent abandons me? What if my parent withholds all that love and affection? What if my parent doesn't validate me? They are scared. Yeah, they are in that uh, scared kind of a state all the time. Yeah, they are scared of the narcissistic parent. They are scared of the others. Yeah, because they were never raised the way how healthy parents raise their children. Yeah, how healthy parents encourage their kids to be authentic, how healthy parents appreciate their kids authenticity, how healthy parents teach their kids to prioritize themselves rather than prioritizing the parents. Healthy parents don't do that. Healthy parents teach their kids to prioritize their own selves. Yeah, so yes, these are some of the impact that we get to see because of narcissistic parenting. In case if you would like to add in something, you can always comment below. Till then, take care of yourself. Lots of love and blessings, and please don't ignore the red flags, and don't take people's gaslighting seriously. Bye.